Welcome to Tekidia Daily. I'm WC Ekekwe. A conversation today will focus on the startup incentive construct and essentially providing reasons why startups win most times when they pioneer a new category or a new sector in the business. And I begin this conversation by showing you a very simple illustration here. And there is a problem to be solved, and that problem is essentially rectangular in shape, and this is the startup. And when the startup sees this problem, it seeks a rectangle, and it begins to build incentives to solve that problem. Incentives could be let's simplify payments, and let's improve the ease of transmission of data, let's save time between the time the data is sent and the time the data is received, and let's also make some money. So there's certainly so many incentives that could be associated with solving this particular problem. Now, this startup is having fun, doing well. Then an old company comes in and says, oh, I can also participate in solving this problem. But remember that the old company is not coming with clean hands. The old company is already entangled because it was once a startup. It has also had problems it solved with incentives that actually galvanize solving that problem. Now, because it's not coming from a clean hand, it has to now create this problem it wants to solve. And that is supposed to be a rectangle. But unfortunately, in the process of creating an incentive upon which this problem will be solved, the incentives will fight because there are other incentives upon which this problem has been extracted. So at the end of the day, the old company is not solving a rectangular problem. It's something totally different. And that becomes a problem. With an entirely different problem that is not necessarily exactly the one that is at hand to be solved. Incentives change. Because incentives change, the problem change. Because it cannot decouple itself from the fact there are already incentives upon which a lot of things are tied to. I make it very clear using cases. Now I'm going to use the global case of Google and Facebook. Before Facebook came, there was Google. Google was the leader in search. Now, Facebook started a social media, connecting people around the world. There was a problem to be solved, social media. There are incentives. Hey, get a lot of people and start monetizing it through advertisements and make a lot of money. Now, Google figured out, hey, I can participate in this. Google wants to solve this rectangular problem here, but there is a problem. Google has incentives because Google was already very successful in something, search, and it will begin to ask itself questions. How can this Google Plus, which is the name of the social media for Google, how is it going to coexist with search? How is it going to coexist with other things that we are doing, Google Maps? Then, because it is trying to solve this problem with already existing incentives, it makes it extremely difficult for it to get and see the same problem that Facebook is saying. And as it begins to solve it, because incentives are already tied to already existing incentives on search, people move from search into Google social media G+. It doesn't work that way. So you want to create a new kind of incentive to solve this problem. But there is already incentive tied to search, which is the main business of Google. And all of a sudden, a new problem is what they are saying. As they continue to solve that problem, Facebook was doing well. And all of a sudden, basically, Google has given up on G+. Now, locally, you could also see it in a bank, okay? We just have treasury banks. I'm just using GTB, and it can be any bank. And now you have the Paystack, a startup, hoping that very soon it will also do this fund transfer internationally, possibly. And then it's focusing on doing fund transfer, let's say internationally. And then GTB says, okay, I am also going to build a fintech focusing on fund transfer. And I'm going to make sure that I cut my fees to the point that it could be competitive to a startup. But remember, GTB is not coming with clean hands here because GTB is already tethered to the treasury unit where they make a lot of money through international fund transfer. So if he wants to solve this problem with incentive of low fund transfer, this will fail because it is going to cannibalize the very lucrative treasury business. So as he continues to work around that, it will create a problem that is totally different from the original one. And when that happens, because the incentives have driven and changed, it is not necessarily possibly going to be as efficient as this guy that has focused exclusively on fixing this problem. It happens across industrial sectors, it happens across the globe. Sometimes most of these startups win. The money from the incumbents, experienced technology, cannot even salvage these companies because they are all looking at this problem from the wrong angle because the incentives are swaying there. When Microsoft wanted to go into mobile, the first thing it will ask itself, how is it going to affect the success of Windows on desktop? Why am I going to pioneer a new sector, a new unit, a new kind of computing when I'm the one ruling the desktop world? When Kodak invented the digital camera, a part of it perhaps, and how are you going to cannibalize the film photography? So it will say, hey, no, I'm not going to do that because this is going to destroy my business. And you could look at Oracle. How are you going to move into the cloud when you could make tons of money by keeping the status quo? So these are always very difficult for incumbents to transition because they have incentives that have been built on the old structures of their businesses. But there are also companies that are learning that the only way you can actually make that transformation is by basically destroy what you have. Companies like GE doing that at a level. Xerox was the first company that was making printer, was telling people how to actually avoid buying printers. So he's coming to your company as a consulting company and tells you, this is how you are actually going to be printing less. Because if he doesn't do it, somebody will do it. And that is why it was better for Xerox to actually be the company that helped people to get that. So you also have IBM to a large level, a very different level of success. It is trying to see how it can cannibalize, disrupt, and transmute itself internally so that the incentive system will actually correlate with the new problem at hand. That is why I'm saying that Nigerian startups, the days are going to be awesome because even though there may be incumbents, there may be very great companies, you can still win this thing. You're watching Wikidia Daily.